Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Great Malabite, good morning.
Good morning, Ruben.
Morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Tundu. Ruben, before you raise alarm over this vaccine,
Yes.
our cameraman who covered that event, John Emmanuel, took the vaccine as one of the journalists and is very fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, different folks, different strokes.
It's good to state that clearly. Now, we start the review with these day newspapers, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story, big day for Afrobeats as Burna Boy clinches Grammy Award. Wizkid shares honor with Beyonce. Yes, it was Nigeria's day in the sun, and Afrobeats revolution, you say, is complete because Afrobeats arrived at the summit of world music yesterday with that award, Grammy Award, individual award by Burna Boy, the self-proclaimed African giant. Twice he was nominated, but second time around, he won it. And of course, Wizkid shared honors with Beyonce in that collaboration in Brown Skin Girl. So it's a great day. And Ruben, I must add that this day has a way over time of promoting Nigerian artists. In fact, the fortunes of Nigerian artists took a turn for the better the day this day music award put Beyonce, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, and Nigerian artists on the same stage. A stone throw from here at the Polo Club. Since then, it has been upward trajectory for Nigerian music and the Nigerian artists. Give kudos to this generation of Nigerian artists. They've been able to match their counterparts from other parts of the world with good music. And the world has taken notice and acknowledged at a global stage. Ruben, I know you want to say something on that. Rufai and Tundu, we cannot let this go.
I mean, I'm so excited, and congratulations to Nigeria. It just shows that Afrobeats, Nigerian music is taking the world stage. I mean, look at the nominations. Burna Boy, Antibalas. Antibalas is like a tribute band to Fela. So two extraction of Afrobeats got the nomination, for global music, and Burna Boy finally won it. Then we had Wizkid, also winning with Beyonce. It just shows that African music is here to stay. It just shows that all the hard work over the years to be able to push African music to the world has gone out to the world. And African musicians have become wiser in signing better distribution deals. So their songs are not just within Nigeria, but it's all over the world, and they're getting airplay. So congratulations to them. All I can say is congratulations. It is Nigeria's time. Formerly before now, when we talk about an African artist winning Grammy, we talk about the likes of the Cesare Evora of Cape Verde. But today, 2 for the price of 1. Nigeria on top. Nigeria no dey carry last.
Well, in actual fact, 6 Nigerians before now had won the Grammy. Including some of them who are either British Nigerians or they are American Nigerians, and 1 or 2 who are actually Nigerians. Lekan Babalola,
the drummer.
Chameleon, Ne, Shadi Adu, Seal, all these are Nigerians. But that of, Burna Boy yesterday generated a lot of excitement, because you recall that last year he was nominated along with Angelique Kidjo. And Angelique Kidjo had dedicated the award to him. And now this year, it has turned out that Angelique Kidjo was prophetic. And it's a very big moment for his career. I mean, the album that won it is twice as tall. Yeah. And now, truly, he can stand twice as tall as the true African giant that he is. And his talent, his creativity, his ability to straddle the various genres and produce excellent music was properly acknowledged by the academy that gave that award. But it was not just Burna Boy. And Burna Boy, his first album, titled Life, says Leave Something for Eternity. And now, truly, he has gone into the history books. And if he continues at this level, with the way he's going, this is not likely to be the only Grammy that he will win. At a personal level, he should see this as a challenge for him to do even more. But truly, he has become an international force. And it also speaks to the acceptability of African genius, African authenticity, African talent on the international scale. And, yesterday, Nigerians were truly excited because it wasn't just Burna Boy. There was also Wizkid, who also got his first Grammy with that song, Brown Skin Girl, with Beyonce, and Blue Ivy, Beyonce's daughter. And then, of course, you had Tiwa Savage, who also got a Grammy for having been part of the Coldplay album. And Femi Kuti, I think, was also part of that. Made Kuti was also part of that. So great moment for Nigeria. But the big indication should be, yes, international recognition is good, but there are many more Burna Boys out there. There are many more Wizkids who are, hoping to grow. I know that the Central Bank of Nigeria has this fund for promoting creative talent, but maybe a lot more needs to be done to capture those other talents that are in this environment, because we have seen that those diamonds that President Buhari talked about in October 2020, while we were celebrating the 60th anniversary of Nigeria, those diamonds indeed exist in blood and flesh. They just need to be given the necessary support, and we just need to have good governance in Nigeria so that when we are celebrating good stories on one hand, we do not end up talking about sad stories coming from Ikala or Jangebe or from other parts of the country.
Okay, Tundu, you want to chip in something there?
That's not necessary. It's all been said. We're incredibly proud of our Nigerian talent.
Okay, we'll just move on quickly to other newspapers. The Daily Sun, confusion as petrol sells at 212 naira per litre. Marketers disregard federal government directive, sell at new price. They must revert to old price, minister. But we know the source of that confusion. Now, the Punch newspaper, petrol subsidy to go up 102.96 billion naira in March. Pump price doesn't reflect market forces. Petrol being subsidized. NNPC, private sector won't invest in oil sector if subsidy continues. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, in March, after March, we'll hear from the government, because the promise the government actually made was that there will be no increase in March. What will happen thereafter? Will the government continue to subsidize without saying so? What NNPC usually tag as under recovery. Vanguard newspaper, sad one. Vanguard newspaper, anguish as gunmen kill 6 from same family in Osun, 1 killed in Ekiti. Police launch manhunt for killers as Amotekun boss demands sophisticated weapons to tackle criminals in Southwest. Now, the Daily Times newspaper, federal government averts economic crisis amid banks, telecom companies feud, of course, over the unstructured supplementary service data code which banks have been using, but they seem not to want to pay for that. But of course, the News Direct newspaper has that story also, putting in context the magnitude of the debt. The News Direct newspaper, banks 42 billion naira debt. Federal government stops telecom firms from withdrawing USSD services. Now, The Guardian, Nigeria's The Guardian newspaper, transparency concerns DOC proposed sale of refineries. Decouple BPE from mainstream bureaucracy. Yusuf. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, how Lagos, Osun, Ekiti, other southwest states plan to tackle food insecurity. They are not doing enough, not engaging agric institutes in the zone, says expert. While the Abuja Inquirer, why our staff, journalists are priority. Vaccination begins today. The Abuja Inquirer newspaper. Now, the foreign newspaper, quickly, now, The Guardian newspaper of UK. Defiant Met chief refuses to quit and hits out at armchair critics. Yes, there's outrage in the UK over the way officers were manhandling women as they mourn the killing of Sarah Everard. Now, Cressida Dick, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, has been asked to resign by a number of persons, but she's having none of that. But the picture of policemen, police officers pinning down a peaceful demonstrator, we can see the photograph, the lower photograph there, is quite distasteful that this will be happening under the watch of a commissioner of police, of Met Police, who is a woman. But she's saying this is the reason why she should stay and fix these ills that are still prevalent in the police. Now, the Wall Street Journal, Biden weighs how to pay for agenda. Yes, after relief law, party grapples with whether to borrow more or to seek tax increases. Yes, looking beyond the 1.6 trillion coronavirus relief law, and it's, of course, the Biden administration is considering how to pay for its next round of programs meant to bolster the economic growth in the U.S., talking about investment in infrastructure, clean energy, and education. Should they borrow more or increase taxes? Of course, because of the narrow divide within the Senate, the Biden administration is also very careful to ensure that all Democrats are on the same page with some of these programs. But it's also a dilemma which Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, will also have to battle with. Do we borrow more or do we increase taxes? Ruben Rufai and Tundu.
Obviously, America is in dire straits, and it will be in dire straits because it's piling up that debt ceiling, and it keeps increasing. But the good thing about their debt is the fact that, they have structures in place, and, they can take more, and it's America for what it is. America will be all right. But that's the blow coronavirus throws to everybody. Unprecedented spending, about $6 trillion thus far, plus another $2 trillion that Joe Biden will be churning out when his package has finally gone through anyway. So it just shows you the blow coronavirus is dealing everybody in the world. Some are being corrupt with theirs, like the UK, for instance. They said their contracts, coronavirus contracts, worth over $22 billion, that were said to be given to companies that had political connections. So it's not only in Nigeria these things happen. It's every part of the world. Those contracts are still there. There were people that had political leanings to Boris Johnson, his friends, his cronies. He gave contracts to. And even if you go to Canada, there's some cases of fraud as regards coronavirus. So it's the way of the world. It's what coronavirus has done, and America will deal with it. But the question I keep asking is, will this money they're churning out really bring about growth? OECD was talking the other day. OECD said that the 1.9 trillion stimulus package will bring about 1% growth in economies over the world. Hopefully that happens. But generation yet unborn will have to pay that debt one way or the other in America, and that will happen.
Ruben?
Okay. It's not time for a break yet.
I thought we were taking a break.
I thought you were taking a break.
So
and then we'll come back to Feni.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're still with Mr. Afeni on the newspaper review. Mr. Afeni?
Yes, Tundu, I was coming straight to you because you were almost celebrating that there was no successful kidnap of school pupils over the weekend.
I mean, it's that low now that we have to celebrate that. It's tragic.
But between the goal of the Boko Haram to stop education and what these bandits are doing, this day report that 618 schools shot in northern states over abduction scare. It's like they're achieving the goal of the Boko Haram to stop education.
They certainly are. And I was saying earlier that these are the children that are supposed to compete with what China is producing, and just how far down we are on the scale, such that we're not even tested officially in the PISA rankings. It's dreadful. But I actually wanted to talk about the issue that happened in London with Dame Cressida Dick trying to sit tight and not resign. She ought to be totally ashamed of herself. And that image that you pointed out of a peaceful protester being on The Guardian, being manhandled in that way, It reminded me of what happened with peaceful protesters in Lagos just weeks ago. You'll recall that people like the internet personality, Mr. Macaroni, and a handful of other brave Nigerians took to the streets to protest, as is their right, whether or not you agree with what they're protesting against. And they were similarly manhandled by the police in the guise of them breaching COVID-19 protocols. In this case, it's particularly galling because these women came out to protest on Clapham Common as a result of the murder of a young woman who was just trying to make her way home one evening. And the person being accused of her murder is a serving police officer called Wayne Cousins, I believe he's called. And the police, in response to that, thought it was good to manhandle and drag protesters away. I mean, the redhead lady, that activist, is not the only one who was subjected to that really disgraceful treatment. And you will recall that a lot of people complained during the Black Lives Matter protests that happened. But some restraint was applied during those protests. People were not dragged because they understood the optics of the police coming to manhandle Black Lives Matter protesters. I don't know why that similar restraint and respect was not accorded to women who are having their own Black Lives Matter moments. Women's lives matter. Women should be able to walk around London in the evening. It's supposed to be an advanced country. And it should also be extended, this current mood. Look at the rate at which young men are being stabbed to death in the streets, shot in the streets. I mean, they're having a real crisis there. So Cressida Dick's defiance, I feel, is somewhat misplaced. She should be a lot more apologetic in her stance.
Yeah, but she feels that she's the right person to fix it.
How is she the right person to fix it? It's not by gender, it's by result.
Emmanuel Ofeniwa, thank you very much.